it not, when our Wallabies bound clear of the All Blacks.
It's an 8-point victory to the Wallabies. They have done it in style.
It doesn't happen often, and that surely makes it all the more special. The history and the heartbeat, the heroics of the Bledisloe Cup, hysterical fans, honourable combatants, a tradition so thick it is immovable. Last week, the Springboks came to New Zealand and outclassed the home side.
There it is, Rousseau! Beautifully worked move.
Suddenly, a team with everything to prove. A highly respected coach fuming in the shadows. And the Wallabies roll up to Christchurch with all the timing of a bull in a china shop.
Larkham! Another one for Australia!
We haven't won here since 1958, a generation. Today, with a little magic, we can take the cup. The Bledisloe Cup. Australia versus New Zealand. The history and the heartbeat.
And the 7 Network welcomes you to Christchurch in the deep south of New Zealand. We're set for a monumental Bledisloe Cup showdown here at Jade Stadium, the old Lancaster Park, between the Wallabies and the All Blacks. This match also part of the Tri-Nation Series. Well, as you can see, it's a lovely summery day. There's a strong sou'wester prevailing. That'll make things a bit tricky for both sides, but the ground is hard and firm. And the Australian under-19 team are playing the New Zealanders at the moment. The Wallabies arrived in Christchurch on Thursday. They had a training run at Christ College yesterday morning, a private session. They look very sharp and focused, and that really sums up their whole preparation. They're nice and fresh for this game, and they realise the cup is so close. The All Blacks, on the other hand, have been very passionate and very emotional. John Hart, the coach, has been under fire, but he's really rallied the whole country here. And the Wallabies are not just playing the 32,500 fans at the stadium. They're playing the All Blacks and 3.5 million Kiwis. So it's a great scene. The Tri-Nations table, Australia and New Zealand have both lost their last clashes with South Africa. The Springboks are up on top of the Tri-Nations table. But if Australia wins today, they will take the Bledisloe Cup home on QF 46 tomorrow. Well, it's the 107th international between these two great rivals, but since 1903, the Wallabies have won only 12 test matches here in New Zealand. And at Lancaster Park, it has been 40 years of absolute misery. Now, Simon Poitevin, the wizard, the famous wizard of New Zealand, has cast a spell to break the drought for New Zealand. What do you make of that?
Well, the All Blacks will need more than a clown masquerading as a wizard to win the game today. I believe if they shut down Mehrtens at fly half, crucial man, Larkham can do that. The forwards have to combat the New Zealand pick-up and drive, which is going to be on today in a big way. And Lomu, Jason Little's got to commit himself to pain and drop him.
Well, the wizard is from your old University of New South Wales, but here are the virtual team lineups. Firstly, the Wallabies, strong front row, but 2 athletic locks as well, Simon.
Fantastic locks in Eales and Bowman, and I think they've got the edge over the All Blacks there.
And the Aussie back row, well, David Wilson, a grand campaigner with Cobain, and Kefu locking.
Yep, Cobain getting better with every game and getting fitter as well.
The ACT Brumby boys in the halves, Larkham and Gregan, looking to create the opportunities to the three-quarter line.
Now, Herbert and Horan regarded the best in the world, and back in the back three here, Little Rock and Matthew Burke. Matthew Burke, to me, the best in the world at fullback.
Well, he certainly looked that way. 24 points at the MCG against the All Blacks. All 24, a world record. Now we look at the All Blacks.
The pick-up and drive will come through Dowd and Brown in the front row there. In the second row, Brooke under a lot of pressure. In the back row, Carter's in for Kronfeld. Kronfeld will find it very hard. They'll miss Kronfeld a big way today. Tane Randell and a lot of pressure at number 8.
The Canterbury halves, Mehrtens and Marshall, looking to create things for the fast men out wide.
Yeah, well, Mayhoff is also, this is home ground, so we try and pick his game up today. Wilson Lomu. Lomu, huge game last week against the Springboks. And Christian Cullen, he's been a bit quiet, could be on fire today though.
Well, two very impressive lineups, two teams chock full of class. It's a very exciting occasion here at Jade Stadium for this epic contest. I just wonder how the two coaches are feeling at the moment. It's a very big occasion for them too. Paul Gregg is with Rod McQueen.
Well, Rod, when you arrived here on Thursday, you thought there might be a bit of snow around, but it's turned out to be perfect conditions for this afternoon.
Yeah, it has. It's been marvellous from our point of view. I mean, it's very much like Caloundra weather, so we've certainly been lucky. Hopefully it'll snow later on tonight.
All right, now the Wallabies haven't won here for 40 years. It'll be an ideal time to break that streak and also take home the Bledisloe Cup.
Oh, look, it certainly would be. There's no doubt about that. I mean, players are very focused on the game. That's really what we have to worry about now. I mean, I think if we can win the cup, that'll be just, it'll be wonderful. But I think the hardest thing at the moment is to keep the players' minds on the job, make sure that we go about our work for 80 minutes. And if we can do that, we should come away with it.
Rod, good luck this afternoon.
Thanks very much.
Yes, we know the All Blacks are going to come out at fever pitch, and really it's death or glory for some of their senior campaigners here this afternoon. What's at stake? The magnificent Bledisloe Cup, donated by the Governor-General of New Zealand way back in 1931. It spent most of its time over here on this side of the Tasman, but the Wallabies aim to change all that. After the break, Chris Handy, and also the man the All Blacks miss most of all. Back shortly. And the New Zealand boys are leading 23-22 with only minutes remaining in what has been a tremendous clash here at Jade Stadium, the old Lancaster Park, as we build towards kick-off in the 107th Test match between the All Blacks and the Wallabies. As from next year, a Bledisloe Cup test plus at least one other test will be played every year at the new Olympic Stadium in Sydney. The Rugby World Cup will be based there in 2003. So if you'd like to guarantee your seats for the next 30 years, please call this number to register your interest in rugby's new supporters club at Stadium Australia. 1300 366 787, the cost of a local call. Well, Chris Handy down on the touchline. The Bledisloe Cup is tantalisingly close for the Wallabies. We haven't won it since 1994. Do you think you'll be drinking out of the Bledisloe Cup tonight?
Well, something is for certain, Gordon. I'll be having a drink anyway. I'd love it to be with the Wallabies out of that famous mug in their dressing room, but it will be hard. This is a very committed All Black team. They're under pressure and they're ready to fire. I know we're here at Lancaster Park and in New Zealand. We've got the mobile tattooing and body piercing truck outside the ground, and we'll be missing something though here today. Sean Fitzpatrick, one of the great warriors of All Black Test match rugby, he's missing from the side. We asked him what it was like, life after Test match rugby.
I must say I'm enjoying the Bledisloe Cup challenge today when we're playing the Australians in golf, so that's probably where I'm at the moment. But yeah, there's lots I'm missing, but there's a new life ahead, and I'm enjoying it.
Unfortunately, you won't be out there, but Phil Kearns is one of your great old sparring partners. You must be happy to see Phil back.
Yeah, I think so. He's had a lot of injuries, and he's back up there now, which is great. He's playing for the Aussies, and that's sort of been a dream of his the last sort of 2 or 3 years, and playing pretty well too. So, and his leadership obviously is an important ingredient in terms of the success of the Australians.
Have you been surprised how well he has come back?
Oh, not really. He's a pretty determined sort of character, old Phil, and with the knee injury he did have and his Achilles and those sort of things, it's taken a lot of hard work, but he's done well.
Speaking of hard characters, can you reveal now that you've retired what he did say to you in 1990 when he scored that try?
I'm still waiting to go to the barbecue. No, actually, I think it was pretty self-explanatory what he said.
Now, how do you see this afternoon's game going?
Oh, it's going to be, are you talking about the golf or the the test match?
The test match.
Test match. I don't know, it's a must-win game for the All Blacks. That's where I see it, and they're pretty determined characters when we've got our back to the wall. And saying that, the Australians have played pretty well. But I can't see the Blacks getting beaten at Lancaster Park in the mood they should be in. And with the firepower they've got on paper, they've got a very strong side and a very determined side that has to win. We've been under extreme pressure here in New Zealand all week, and if that's not going to fire them up, not much else will.
Yes, it's almost last straw if they can't do it today. The Wallabies are underdogs in this game. Centre Bet has quoted Australia at 7-4 against the All Blacks odds on, but certainly the Wallabies are looking pretty relaxed, Simon Poitevin.
They are. An interesting work there by Damien Smith on his bandage. Big game for Tim Horan. He's missed a couple of tackles over the last couple of test matches with Mr. Herbert there, so Timmy won't be missing those today at all.
Well, before we take a break, here's your chance now to follow the trail to rugby's holy grail next year in Europe.
The people from Ford are giving you the chance to win a trip for two to next year's Rugby World Cup final in Wales with the Ford Famous Try competition. All you have to do is tell us which of the following 5 tries you think is Gordon Bray's Ford Famous Try. Is it try A, Stephen Larkham's solo effort against the Scots at Murrayfield?
He's beaten 6-7! Larkham again! What a try!
Try B, Ian Jones coming from nowhere against the Wallabies in Melbourne.
He's just caught, and there's the try to Jones!
Try C, Jason Little's try at the MCG with a little help from Joe Roth.
Who wants it? Aussie rules? Try! Jason Little!
Try D, Russell Bennett on the end of a bullet pass in last year's thriller at Ellis Park.
Russell Bennett somehow held on to a bullet pass.
Or is it try E, Joe Roth chips and regathers to set up Matthew Burke against Scotland at the stadium.
Matthew Burke! We've seen Joe Roth do that for the ACT Brumbies.
Just ring the phone number that corresponds to the try which you think is Gordon Bray's Ford Famous Try, and you could be winging your way to next year's Rugby World Cup final in Wales, courtesy of Ford Australia.
Competition continues throughout the Tri-Nations. It is a brilliant scene here at Jade Stadium, Lancaster Park, and we're just about set for the main event. The ground in superb condition, and after the break we meet the famous Wizard of New Zealand and we sample Bledisloe Cup fever Christchurch style. A triumphant moment here at Jade Stadium for the Australian under-19s, and Tim Walsh, the fullback, from 50 metres, he has kicked a drop goal on the bell for the Australian under-19s to win 25-23. Incredible performance by the young team coached by Gary Ella and David Carter. Will that be an omen for the Wallabies this afternoon? Well, we've had a fantastic build-up here in Christchurch. Paul Gregg has been sampling it all in this, the city of the 1974 Commonwealth Games and the home of the Super 12 champions, the Canterbury Crusaders.
Christchurch, an enchanting city in more ways than one, home to Super 12 champions Canterbury and New Zealand's first official wizard.
Now, if Wallabies lose, I'm in big trouble. My fiancée is a bloody Aussie! And she crows every time the Aussies win. I myself am a pummy bastard! So I'm caught in the middle. My side never bloody wins.
He spent match eve putting a curse on the Wallabies, but in the past has performed various rituals to help Australian farmers overcome prolonged dry spells.
Rain from the east. And rain from the west.
But on the streets of Christchurch, many are wondering when the All Blacks drought will break. 2 consecutive defeats has the country in the doldrums.
Worse than a depression over here at the moment. It's not good.
Time comes when they have to lose sometime, and when they lose, New Zealand's down.
I think it's the best thing that could have happened to the All Blacks, actually, with the World Cup coming up next year. It's better to have the losses now.
What have you got to do to beat the Wallabies come Saturday?
Just turn up.
Local broadcaster Murray Deaker echoing the thoughts of many.
The reality is that the bloke who's under the pressure is the coach, and he hasn't been there before. And for some of us who've watched him and admired him for a long time, this is a new experience to see him talking things up the way he is, because I'd suggest that that is a lack of confidence by him at this stage.
But like most Kiwis, he can't contemplate a hat-trick of losses.
It's going to come down to desire, passion and all those kinds of things, and that's why I'll back us to win.
Murray Deakin, New Zealand Sports Broadcaster of the Year. Not a happy record in Christchurch. Australia won the first 3, but we have lost the last 6. We in the Southern Hemisphere feel that this is the most famous piece of silverware of all, the Bledisloe Cup. It's been a dominant force in trans-Tasman competition since 1931. Australia hasn't had possession since 1995, when we lost the 100th test match between the two teams at the Sydney Football Stadium. Simon Poitevin, you've played at this ground many times. It really is a spectacular scene.
Yeah, fantastic weather here today in Christchurch. All surprised everyone. Here's the team now coming out.
So John Eales, as we've mentioned, leading the Wallabies for the 25th time. He has won 17, lost 7 and drawn 1. That draw in his 50th test. And Jason Little finally getting a run on with the Wallaby team. So the Wallabies striding out, and I must say they are looking as fit as I have ever seen them. They had a very sharp training session yesterday at Christ College here in Christchurch.
It'll be an element of surprise to the Wallabies against the All Blacks today. They are a fitter side than they were in Melbourne. Steve Nance, the trainer, has worked very hard at the Caloundra to lift them to another level. And I can tell you from seeing some of the players working at the gym here, they are on fire.
So one change to the Australian side that lost by a point to South Africa in Perth. Test veteran Jason Little gets his first run-on start for the year and wins his 51st cap. The remainder of the backs have started all 6 internationals, and up front, John Eales leading the Wallabies proudly. Tom Bowman is the baby of the team at just 22 years. He turned 22 a fortnight ago, and it's only his 6th test match.
Nice little morale booster as the Wallabies almost coming onto the field. And under 19's been a fantastic last-minute field goal. Have beaten the New Zealand under 19s now. So that's the under 21s in South Africa 2 weeks ago. Now the under 19s. Junior rugby in Australia is going particularly well.
Yes, Tim Walsh kicking a 50-metre drop goal on the siren to clinch a spectacular victory after the Wallabies had missed the penalty goal. New Zealand didn't get their touch, and Australia took that last desperate opportunity. New Zealand All Blacks, the most famous team in the history of rugby union. Ian Jones out for his 75th test, his 100th game for the All Blacks. A champion player. He's had some monumental battles with John Eales, and there's Walter Little, his 50th game for New Zealand this afternoon in test matches. Jonah Lomu has the number 11 engraved in his right eyebrow, and Mark Carter, he's been a long time off the scene. In fact, his last run-on test was against Simon Poitevin. Just 2 changes to the side, beaten 13-3 by the Springboks last weekend in Wellington. In the backs, hometown hero Andrew Mehrtens reinstated, his 27th cap. In the pack, Mark Carter, his first run-on test since the 1991 World Cup semi-final in Dublin, won by Australia 16 points to 6. Josh Kronfeld is concussed. Ian Jones, his 100th match for New Zealand this afternoon.
Well, Joey Roth was off training yesterday, but had shin splints. No real problem. He'll be fine today.
Chris Handy down on the touchline as we're just about ready for the anthems.
All these Wallabies just congratulating and encouraging Jason Little. Big moment for him.
And I noticed that all the Wallaby reserve benches out there again, as they did at the MCG. Boys Grammar Choir singing the anthems today. Wilson, the man who was a teenager, played senior internationals for New Zealand in rugby and cricket. Tane Randall, a very blustery breeze, now to lead the haka, and the Wallabies to stand just 15 metres away. And a big jumbo coming over the ground. Qantas, Australia's national airline. Stadium erupts. There's Mark Mayer-Hoppler. His wife Jane gave birth during the week to their first son Mackenzie, and Jonah Lomu to be marking Jason Little this afternoon. The Wallabies now going into a huddle, as is their custom, and so too the All Blacks.
Well, very interesting start here for the All Blacks. Got a big win behind them. You'll see Mehrtens driving the ball into the corners. They'll be picking up and driving. They've got to combat that drive for the forwards. Now John Eales taking his side into a huddle here. They'll work through the next 80 minutes, the checklist.
Chris Handy, there is not a spare seat in the house, no standing room either.
Enormous interest in this game, good. All around the town, everyone was going to be here. Lots watching. It's a special match. Can the Wallabies turn back time? 40 years of it.
There's 50-year-old Derek Bevan, furthest away, in charge of his 38th international. Ed Morrison and Brian Camsell, the two Englishmen, will be his touch judges. This is Bevan's 9th visit to New Zealand as an international referee.
These three guys are going to be critical today. There's going to be a lot of combating close. There's going to be players cleaned out. Now, a player cleaned out off the ball, it's likely that a guy like Derek Bevan will penalise that. So both sides have to be extremely smart in the way they get their aggression out in these rucks and mauls.
Derek Bevan refereed the 1991 World Cup final at Twickenham. Simon Poitevin's last game for Australia. So George Gregan, the Aussie vice-captain, he and John Eales took the training session, the final one yesterday.
George will be doing a lot of sweeping behind the back line today, looking for the little chip across an outstanding Australian defence. So he's got a very important job. Mark Carter, he's got to play a huge game to come anywhere near Josh Confield, and Cobain getting tougher by the game. Jonah Lomu, the machine last week against the Springboks.
Yes, Matt Cobain, his wife Sally also expecting, as the Wallabies are going to play into the breeze in this first half. It's a swirling breeze. Mehrtens and Marshall know it like the back of their hand. We're underway. The ball sitting up in the breeze. A lot of jersey pulling. Bowman! 15 metres out from the New Zealand goal line. Great start here for the Wallabies. Larkham. Spill ball there. Referee plays advantage.
Gone forward, yeah, no advantage.
Well, they switched pass back in there to Daniel Herbert. Had a look, ball goes forward. No real advantage for New Zealand, so we've got a scrum. You'll see this ball belted down the field by Mehrtens.
Ferocious scrumming in the first engagement, Chris.
Very low. Ollie Brown trying to keep Dan Crowley pinned down so that they can't get that go forward in the scrum. Good start from the kick-off, a good positive burst by Tom Bowman.
On the 22. Andrew Mehrtens, wobbly kick. Burke underneath. Goes for a drop goal. Well, that was optimistic. Here's Christian Cullen. Herbert's racing back. That's a huge kick downfield.
I think it's going to be a good lesson there for Matthew Burke. The ball is very precious. He had the wind in his face. It was a very ordinary option.
Yeah, I've got to agree. I think he's inspired by that kick from the young Tim Walsh in the under-19s to win the game, but right into the teeth of the breeze.
So difficult throwing here for Phil Kearns. Tom Bowman getting his hands on the ball early and taking play into the heart of New Zealand's quarter. There's John Eales. Here's Gregan and Larkham. That's a hefty reply, taking play to the 10-metre line. Still in Australia's territory, no score after 2 minutes.
One thing which Mark Carter can do better than Josh Confield is get through and charge balls down. Very fast off the back of the line out. Steve Larkham will have to step him a few times today.
A lot of balls turned over in line-outs. Last match by the Wallabies.
That's Robin Brooke at the front of the line-outs, and a good drive there by the Aussies. Good low drive. Marshall calling for a collapse of that maul. Here's Mehrtens again. That's a big tester for Burke. Here's a chance for New Zealand. And a knock on, but he was taken out in mid-air. There's Mark Mayer-Hopler. Well, Australia very thin at the back there, but he was up in the air and taken out. Larkham taking play back up towards halfway. Mayer-Hopler's sister Jackie Wong is the girlfriend of Andrew Mehrtens.
Oh, what am I telling you for?
Expect to see the Wallabies use a lot of ball off this line out short to the forwards today. Get the initial punch going.
John Eales wrestling the ball.
It wasn't straight. What do you want, black? Out 15, black.
So this is the problem for the line-out throwers today in these blustery conditions.
What an amazing situation there for John Eales. He did tremendously well to get the ball.
Gone round. Let's have you got it square.
This ground hasn't had a match played on it before today since the Super 12 semi-final between the Coastal Sharks and the Canterbury Crusaders. Look at that tackle by Larkham on Marshall. He hit him hard early. Mehrtens again. Aussie's got a hand on it. Burke on the full here. Bit of time. Open space. Rolling end over end. Fine kick there by Matthew Burke. Mehrtens is back there. Charged down brilliantly by Jason Little. And we're back for a 22 as Tom Bowman grabs the ball.
Jason Little, plenty of speed. Gets through here. Bit disorientated after the charge down, and Lomu's about to clean up the crumbs.
Well, that just shows you, Chris, how keen Jason Little is this afternoon.
He's pumped up and he won't let Australia down.
Here's Steve Larkham. Bit of room to move. Steps beautifully up to halfway. Playing as a fullback that time. Wallabies have it in control. Gregan makes a mistake but recovers well. Supported by Cobain. And a penalty to Australia. Coming over the offside line, which is the last feet in the ruck. 5 minutes gone, no score.
Silly. Yes, Simon, I'm sure you're about to say some silly work by Anton Oliver. He was off his feet and tried to interfere with the ball coming back. That's not the discipline that the All Blacks would need.
Now all the responsibility falls back to Phil Kearns. We know the conditions are tough down there, but Kearnsy's been around long enough for enough internationals to get these throws right.
Tom Bowman at the front here. Cobain's moved up, and that's John Eales again. That was a brilliant throw. Dan Crowley. Taken by Michael Jones. Wallabies wade in. Here's Gregan. Kepu running hard and straight at Oliver. Pick and drive by the Australians. Well met there by Randall and Ian Jones. Still, the Wallabies have it. They work it short side. Jason Little. Picked up by Bowman! Tom Bowman! What a try! Big Tom Bowman has crashed over for his first international try. What a start for Australia.
Well, they're saying at the beginning of this year this kid was too young to be in the Wallabies. He started the game like a house on fire, breaking out, and now he has just shown fantastic athletic ability to get through for this try in the corner. Got some surprising speed for a big man. no one worked harder in school at his fitness than Tom Bowman.
Chris Handy.
We've seen this guy emerge from the chrysalis, and he is reborn. He burst from the kickoff, a powerful shunt. Here he is, Johnny, on the spot. Not only did he pick up a hard ball, he beat Cullen, stepped out of a tackle. You could think Tom Bowman.
And who was the man on his left-hand shoulder? John Eales. They are superb locks, these two players.
Well, Baraba has produced 3 famous Wallabies. Tom Bowman, the latest. Earlier on, Jockey Kelleher, the tight-sized winger, who figured in a great Bledisloe Cup win over New Zealand. And Billy McKidd, who in 1978 played in that famous match at Eaton Park where Greg Cornelson scored 4 tries. Blistering start here by the Wallabies. It's low. Not straight enough. Australia 5-0.
I'm sure all the...
Hello, I'm Dr.
He goes deep. Here's Gregan. Over his head. He let it bounce. But cleverly keeping the ball in play. Reefing it over his left shoulder. A touch now for Randall. He straightens. Gregan the tackler. New Zealand under pressure again. They've coughed it up. Cobain down on the loose ball. Sloppy play there by Tane Randall. Here's Larkham. Just waiting the kick downfield over Cullen's head. Look at that bounce. We're only 15 metres out. It's a very composed and confident Wallaby team at the moment.
Well, this is a bit of a horror start for the All Blacks, a side who's desperately trying to regain confidence. And this man, John Hart, talk about under pressure. Forget about being the Prime Minister of this country, the All Black coach. You are the king, and if you start to fail, they start to ask for your head.
Tom Bowman almost pinching it. Here's Marshall. His kick bounces in the field of play. Jason Little. He was smashed by Carter. Fine tackle over the top. Australia not releasing, says the referee. And players coming in on the side of the ruck.
Well, he's allowed this game to breathe so far, Mr. Bevan, and David Wilson going into support. Jason Little being penalised, but...
Mehrtens with a big touch finder. Gaining about 38 metres. And we're now 35 out from the Wallaby goal line. Australia 5-0. There's the Wallaby coaching management from the left, Rod McQueen, Tim Lane, and here the manager on the right, John Mackay. New Zealand. Referee spots a knock on. He's ruled that Australia was onside. I think some of the crowd felt that Australia fringed that time. So a scrum here for New Zealand.
Good defence there from Matt Cobain. Takes the All Blacks to ground, and John Eales just unable to hold that ball.
Wallabies wheel. Held at the back. And it goes through the 90 degrees. Another scrum. There's plenty of grunt in that New Zealand 8 at scrum time.
Good scrum, Andrew. Blades on the far side. Got Craig Dowd under a fair amount of pressure.
I reckon this ball will come inside from Mehrtens back to Lomu, who's positioned on his left side very close.
Australia crashed in that time to get a good engagement. New Zealand scrum goes down. But we're seeing all the experience of Phil Kearns here too. Very cagey.
Wake up, back up.
Gone to the far side. He doesn't have to bind. The loose head, Dan Crowley, doesn't have to bind.
Here's Tane Randall at the back. Marshall now. Mehrtens. Meyerhofer trying to wriggle through. Well caught by Larkham. New Zealand needs quick ball. Mehrtens looking for a drop. Charged down by Eales. Here's Herbert. Australia have it now. Larkham's kick is charged down by Cullen. Dramatic play from both sides. 5 from halfway.
Well, John Eales was right onto that one. He came through at pace as Mehrtens twitched. Smothered it beautifully.
Just look how the two locks are switched on today. Firstly Bowman and then Eales. It's infectious. Great support. A lot of pressure on the man with the ball. They're very focused on him.
Robin Brooke well at the front. Big pass out in the midfield. Lomu tries to crash through. Takes 3 to bring him down. New Zealand clean out. Here they go right side. Mehrtens down into the corner. Burke is there. And that one may have gone too far. And so we'll come right back for a scrum. What's the referee saying? Yes, right back for a scrum. It was an attacking kick because it went over the dead ball line. Australia will have the scrum feed.
Well, good shutdown there of Jonah Lomu. Kepu in underneath. 2 players over the top. Wants to switch back in. Get him down quickly.
Good attempt by the All Blacks to work that break wider of the ruck. They're trying to get out wide where Mark Carter, in support of the move, is very effective. Wallabies will want to keep their ruck and mauls moving.
So controlled by Kepu now. Gregan goes wide. Herbert making good inroads. Kepu! Breakout by Australia. Desperate defence New Zealand. Gregan, Larkham, Horan. Cream by Mehrtens. What a tackle. Brilliant defence New Zealand. Australia still have it. Larkham again, straightening. Gets to the advantage line. Gregan once more. Robin Brooke has his hand on it. Here's Herbert. Goes to ground. Australia clean out. Just outside the quarter. Short side again. Here's Horan. Phil Kearns does well. Gregan goes in. Joe Roth now. Kefu. They're battering New Zealand in close. David Wilson runs into Carter. Australia protects the ball. Stephen Larkham. They work a switch to Roth. The big fellow stands in the tackle. He gets support now. New Zealand try to spoil. Australia's maintaining possession here. Horan. Nowhere to go. He spots a gap. Gregan. New Zealand players standing offsides. Anton Oliver there causing the turnover.
How many times we see this ploy by the All Blacks?
New Zealand go wide now. Mehrtens. Here goes Wilson. He beat Horan. Burke comes in. Cullen. Gregan's the only man to stop him. Wilson lost it. A knock on. So the try goes begging. It would have been a magnificent reply from the All Blacks from inside their 22.
We've just got to go back, though, to Anton Oliver wandering through the Australian back line. Caused the breakdown here, but a good counter-attack from the All Blacks. Effective defence coming across. They really singled their men out there. Jason Little was there to take Wilson.
Now here's something we worried about, Chris, an injury to Matthew Burke. The score here, 5-0 Australia. He's copped a stray leg in the solar plexus or the kidney area. Damien Smith is warming up. This would cause a reshuffle with Joe Roth going to full back. But Chris, this is something you were concerned about.
Yeah, you're only as good as your replacements, and there's not key players. There's not a fullback to come on or a fly half to come on, but Burke's resilient. Worry about that if it happens.
Well, that was electrifying play from New Zealand. Those exciting, quick men at the back. Cullen and Wilson. Mark Mehrtens made a very confident start to the game. Larkham now. And just relieving pressure here for Australia. That's a fine kick.
It's a super kick.
Wilson thinking about a quick throw. He does. They play on. They're looking very positive. Wilson now over halfway. Keeps it in play. Horan's there. Matthew Burke's injured, remember. This one going towards the in goal. And Horan to force it, and we'll be back to the 22. A good positive play there from Jeff Wilson, regarded by most people as the outstanding winger in world rugby.
Back on halfway, Matt Cobain's copped a little clip to the head, getting a bit of treatment.
Cobain in the hands of Cameron Lillicrap, the Australian trainer. He's going to resume. So Burke goes deep. Soaring kick. Mehrtens back there. 30 metres out. He has a run and follows. And Mehrtens taking play midway between 22 and halfway. Still Australia by 5-0.
Mehrtens, given his size, had no choice but to kick that ball. It's a solid wall. Australian jumpers in front of him. And they have been defending very well.
And Matthew Burke still feeling the base of his back, giving him some discomfort.
Well, you'd have to say Australia was building up very impressively before that breakout by New Zealand, as Dan Crowley now goes down for attention. They'd won about 7 or 8 rucks in a row, and then Anton Oliver, cleverly you would say, positioning himself at fly half for Australia, saw the pass go to ground, and New Zealand have regained momentum.
The good thing about the Australian forward play was they moved the ball quickly to another point and kept rolling forward. And the ball that's being produced for George Gregan is quite a bit better than it was against South Africa. It's something they've worked on hard during the week.
So Glenn Panaho, who's so keen to get out there. Simon, he's been on a real fitness campaign.
Yes, Steve Nance has taken 7 kilos off Glenn Panaho. He's into the real world of international rugby now.
Bowman got up for that one, but lost it. So a bonus there for New Zealand. Marshall now to Carter. Defence wrapped him up. They try and hold him up off the ground here. Is it a collapse ball? No, the referee's happy.
Oh, wait a minute, I can't see it. Show me you can behave and I'll do it.
Dan Crowley had the ball there for Australia. So New Zealand with the scrum feed just outside the Aussie quarter.
Well, almost a dreaded turnover there from Mark Carter. Referee saved him.
Black and square. I want you square in a line. Good. Black ball, down you go. That's good.
Good attacking situation. Blindsides of Jonah. Quick ball. He got through little. And good defence by Australia. So surprise tactics there from New Zealand. Almost paying off.
Good burst on the short side by the big man. Hit the ball well. Free work move and nearly got around the balance of the defence.
Jonah made his test debut at this ground against the French in 1994. It was dropped after that series. So the All Blacks all coming across there. Obstruction ruled in the line-outs.
John Eales had players all over him in the jump. Waited the advantage, giving it a bit of breathing space. Derek Bevan, it's good to see.
Stephen Larkham has looked so composed here today. A very cool head, playing only his 6th full game at fly half.
Took Cobain to clean up at the back.
Here's Larkham again. Pivots! Almost getting through. Marshall goes into fill for Robin Brooks there. The referee's playing advantage. Looks like a penalty being awarded here. We'll just have to wait and see. Here's Horan. Well, a bad knock on by the Wallabies out wide. Phil Kearns was on the wing. Here's Jonah, and he's a chance. Horan went low and put him to ground.
Black scrum.
It's confusing signal there from referee Bevan. He did look as though he's playing advantage, but I don't see any advantage in that phase of play for the Australians at all.
I think perhaps he was just telling the backs to get onside, Simon. Marshall, Mehrtens. Meyerhoff was a decoy. No, he's not, but he slipped over. Wilson was the tackler. Meyerhoff again on his favoured left foot. Open territory out there. He knows the ground so well. And New Zealand down in the attacking zone.
Rucks and mauls, interesting numbers coming up there. The Australians really dominating possession this first part of the game.
So Philip Kearns, 31-year-old from the Roundwick Club. Prior to the World Cup, he'd played 46 test matches in a row. And he, Tony Daly and Ewan McKenzie still hold the world record for a front row at 37. One ahead of Fitzpatrick, Dowd and Brown. Tom Bowman got it that time. Australia has quite a few options in the line-out. They've edged ahead here. Gregan now. And Larkham. Nice follow through with the right boots. That one almost found snow. And look at the gain. Territory there, 60 metres for the Wallaby team.
Well, what a sigh of relief from the Aussie forwards there as Larkham just belts it down the field. Terraces, chock-a-block. A bit stunned at this time with the Aussies ahead and the wind in their faces.
That wind up high, carrying that ball, and Larkham smartly got it high, and the wind just did the rest, carrying it into that face of that grandstand.
Nicely taken there again by Robin Brooke. All Blacks trying to roll this one to the left. Marshall. Anton Oliver. Solid tackle there by Cobain. Marshall once more. Mehrtens, plenty of kicking from New Zealand. Jason Little in good position this time. He has Burke there with him. Jonah Lomu through quickly. And another excellent kick by Matthew Burke. He showed all the skills against New Zealand at the MCG, and just communicating there with Jason Little.
Short line out here from the All Blacks. We've got out in the back line, Tane Randell and Carter.
Anton Oliver, bad pass. It went behind the man, no knock on, or the referee said it was. Well, that is just so unlike the All Blacks. An elementary mistake there with good scrum ball.
Just amazing lack of skills as Randell goes without it.
Here's Kefu, Australian scrum rock solid. Bowman goes in. Gregan now. Australia work it up that right touch line. Probing kick by Larkham. Amazing kick by Stephen Larkham. It's only a matter of metres out from the goal line.
Well, Rob McQueen has made the statement that he'd like to see Larkham get to the skills of Mehrtens as a fly half, and today so far he's certainly the equal.
Well, the thing about Larkham too, he's put on about 5 or 6 kilos since the start of the Wallaby camp 2 months ago, but a fine line-out win for New Zealand here. Australia not committing many forwards. They want to try and pressurise. Marshall's kick.
Here we are!
Now the referee's awarding a free kick.
Numbers in the line!
And it's from the line-out. Australia had too many people in the line-out. The team throwing in dictates the numbers in the line-out. So a free kick, and that's good news for Mehrtens. He knows he can gain 40 or 50 metres down that left-hand touchline. He's taken play to halfway.
Bevan penalty. It should be an Australian throw-in.
It was a free kick, so Australia gets the throw-in, as you say, Simon. Right on the halfway line here. Robin Brooke, number 5. Eales got a hand to it. Gregan! So strong. Made 5 metres. No half back here. Gregan recovers. Larkham. Herbert. Here's Matthew Burke coming in. They've made 10 metres. Can they get it back here? Quickly now. Herbert. There's a chance for Australia. Horan. Kefu! Great pass outside, but couldn't pick up the man. Just a little too far. Australia had a try-scoring opportunity there.
That big strapping second rower come winger, Tom Bowman. It's not there for this pass, but fantastic break by Kefu.
Inside pass from Horan, a gem. Kefu on the line, then thinks Jason Little must be out there somewhere, and it was the Barraba boy, up where those floods are devastating the north of New South Wales.
Australia pinch the ball. Gregan throws a dummy and follows here. Up the touchline, Jonah. Gregan came through, so did Larkham. That's Walter Little. And the referee said he was outside the 22, I think. What's happened here?
There'll be a blue on about this. He is definitely inside. Just watch where his foot is on the replay.
He's overruled the touch judge, Chris. Walter Little, in his 50th test, has been ruled outside.
It's a tough call to overrule the touch judge. He's inside his 22.
He had a foot on the line. You have to be right behind the line. I think his toe was just on it, Chris. It may be worth another look.
You should be the long jump judge. Go out and have a look for the toe tag marks on the line. I reckon it was a fair kick out.
I think the referee was splitting hairs. New Zealand a bit unlucky there. 5-0 Australia. In this Bledisloe Cup contest, the 107th Test match between Australia and New Zealand. Wallabies leading by 5-0. Here's Eales. Solidly met by Carter. Australia have it inside the quarter. Larkham. No way through that time. Australia have lost 6 metres. Holding onto the ball, they were isolated. So good defence there by New Zealand. And Tane Randall was there, so too Robin Brooke. So that's a very vital turnover there for the All Blacks, with Australia looking very strong. Just a bit of hesitancy from the Wallabies. Well read there by the New Zealanders. Tane Randall in the thick of it.
A bit of a worry in this New Zealand line-out. They've lost a couple to the Aussies.
There's Ian Jones that time. Beautiful torpedo pass out wide. Here's Cullen. Herbert got him and drove him back. Fabulous drift defence there from the Aussies.
Oh,
Hand in the ruck, says the referee. Australians on the ground playing the ball. Now this is a possible chance for Mehrtens. We will wait and see.
Daniel Herbert did the big hit here on Cullen. Drives him back. They got desperate with the ball on the ground. Once Herbert gets in here, we start to see the rest of the goal jumps coming in. David Wilson now, he's there. He'd think he'd be off his feet. He is off. He's standing off the ground. Bit of a hard call.
And Jonah's big size 14 goes straight into Cullen's face.
End result is New Zealand have a chance to post first points. And Andrew Mehrtens, who had a horror night at the MCG, recalled last week, got 1 out of 1 at Athletic Park, but this is his favourite home patch. Allowing for the angle, it's 50 metres. This would be a huge morale booster for the All Blacks. No problems with distance, it's curling and sailing just outside the left-hand uprights. He started that right, there was a big loop on it. 1 missed penalty goal for Mehrtens. Mehrtens has 95 points against the Wallabies.
New Zealand will be desperate to start getting some points on the board here. 10 minutes to go in the first half. They certainly have this win favouring him in this first half.
Burke. Back to Mehrtens again. Mehrtens is going to follow this time. He's pumped that towards the touchline. What a kick. It's landed just half a metre inside the touchline. That was stupendous, Andrew Mehrtens. He was the outstanding player in the Super 12 tournament. And now Australia backs to the wall.
Great field position for the All Black forwards, who are looking for a bit of a lead. The All Blacks have been trying to get wide to use Cullen and Lomu all day.
They pinch the ball. Here's Little. New Zealand clean out well.
No, get the deck and he went back in there, black ball.
New Zealand scrum feed.
Keep your hands off it on the deck.
Well, there were a lot of hands in there.
Waterlittle went to ground there and the Wallabies were all over him. The ball was coming their way. Unfortunate call against them from the referee.
Look at the New Zealand backs here in a straight line. Well, they've taken a lead out of the ACT Brumbies book. The Wallaby backs look anxiously on. Jonah Lomu, second man back. Keep an eye on him. Mehrtens, Gregan spoiled. Here they go now. Lomu! Steamrollers. Brilliant tackle by Horan underneath. Quick ball, Mehrtens. It's only 10 metres out. The Wallabies hold on. Oliver. New Zealand pounding now. Lomu again. 3 men to bring him down. They still have it. Marshall goes himself. Loose on the ground. The Wallabies go for it. Mehrtens into fly half. Little. Just couldn't offload. 5 metres out from the Wallaby goal line. Another scrum.
Up there.
Awesome pressure from New Zealand. And fierce Australian defence.
It's the first time we've really seen the Australian defence tested, and they were right up to it. Interesting, that backline move. They swing quickly to the right. It really puts the numbers out for the Wallabies, but they scrambled very effectively. Much helped by George Gregan's little touch of the ball.
Australia hold on to a 5-0 lead. Who's a New Zealand Maori from Kaikoui. In fact, he went to the same primary school as Scott McLeod back in 1986. Scott McLeod on the New Zealand bench today. Jonah Lomu is feeding the ball into the scrum here. Watch him. Jonah has it. Australia read it well. Now they try to pilfer. Wilson's there. Coming back for Marshall. He goes himself. He's crunched. Wallaby forwards a little slow to get up. Here's Mehrtens. Cullen joins the line. Bowman's there. Stopped his momentum. Big tackle by Kefu and Cobain. 15 metres out. Coming back for Marshall again. Michael Jones. The Wallabies are throwing themselves into defence, but they're offside here. The penalty just 12 metres in from the touchline. And Tane Randall says we'll have a shot for goal. Well, this is a critical kick.
The Wallabies are really pushing through in these tackles. They are slamming the All Blacks. Eventually the All Blacks going here for the penalty. Super tackle by Steve Larkham on Lomu, who was the big scrum half coming around, took him to ground. But from then on, everyone was committed to knocking these guys over.
It's interesting to see how Derek Bevan's allowing players to climb up over the ruck. Not generally the way Northern Hemisphere referees do it.
Well, Mehrtens simply has to get this one for New Zealand, and the odds say that he will. Beautifully timed. He really sculptured that ball inside the right-hand uprights. And so New Zealand finally... Nicely taken there again by Robin Brooke. All Blacks trying to roll this one to the left. Marshall. Anton Oliver. Solid tackle there by Cobain. Marshall once more. Mehrtens. Plenty of kicking from New Zealand. Jason Little in good position this time. He has Burke there with him. Jonah Lomu through quickly. And another excellent kick by Matthew Burke. He showed all the skills against New Zealand at the MCG, and just communicating there with Jason Little.
Short line out here from the All Blacks. We've got out in the back line Tane Randell and Carter.
Anton Oliver, bad pass. It went behind the man, no knock on, or the referee said it was. Well, that is just so unlike the All Blacks. An elementary mistake there with good scrum ball.
Just amazing lack of skills as Randell goes without it.
Here's Kefu, Australian scrum rock solid. Bowman goes in. Gregan now. Australia work it up that right touchline. Probing kick by Larkham. Amazing kick by Stephen Larkham. It's only a matter of metres out from the goal line.
Well, Rob McQueen has made the statement that he'd like to see Larkham get to the skills of Mehrtens as a fly half, and today so far he's certainly the equal.
Well, the thing about Larkham too, he's put on about 5 or 6 kilos since the start of the Wallaby camp 2 months ago, but a fine line-out win for New Zealand here. Australia not committing many forwards. They want to try and pressurise. Marshall's kick.
Here we are!
Now the referee's awarding a free kick.
Numbers in the line!
And it's from the line-out. Australia had too many people in the line-out. The team throwing in dictates the numbers in the line-out. So a free kick, and that's good news for Mehrtens. He knows he can gain 40 or 50 metres down that left-hand touchline. He's taken play to halfway.
Ben-arm penalty. It should be an Australian throw-in.
is a free kick, so Australia gets the throw in, as you say, Simon. Right on the halfway line here. Robin Brooke, number 5. Eales got a hand to it. Gregan! So strong. Made 5 metres. No half back here. Gregan recovers. Larkham. Herbert. Here's Matthew Burke coming in. They've made 10 metres. Can they get it back here? Quickly now. Herbert. There's a chance for Australia. Horan. Kefu! Great pass outside, but couldn't pick up the man. Just a little too far. Australia had a try-scoring opportunity there.
That big strapping second rower come winger, Tom Bowman. It's not there for this pass, but fantastic break by Kefu.
Inside pass from Horan, a gem. Kefu on the line, then thinks Jason Little must be out there somewhere, and it was the Barraba boy, up where those floods are devastating the north of New South Wales.
Australia pinch the ball. Gregan throws a dummy and follows here. Up the touchline, Jonah. Gregan came through, so did Larkham. That's Walter Little. And the referee said he was outside the 22, I think. What's happened here?
There'll be a blue on about this. He is definitely inside. Just watch where his foot is on the replay.
He's overruled the touch judge, Chris. Walter Little, in his 50th test, has been ruled outside.
It's a tough call to overrule the touch judge. He's inside his 22.
He had a foot on the line. You have to be right behind the line. I think his toe was just on it, Chris. It may be worth another look.
You should be the long jump judge. Go out and have a look for the toe tag marks on the line. I reckon it was a fair kick out.
I think the referee was splitting hairs. New Zealand a bit unlucky there. 5-0 Australia. In this Bledisloe Cup contest, the 107th test match between Australia and New Zealand. Wallabies leading by 5-0. Here's Eales. Solidly met by Carter. Australia have it inside the quarter. Larkham. No way through that time. Australia have lost 6 metres. Holding onto the ball, they were isolated. So good defence there by New Zealand. And Tane Randall was there, so too Robin Brooke. So that's a very vital turnover there for the All Blacks, with Australia looking very strong. Just a bit of hesitancy from the Wallabies. Well read there by the New Zealanders. Tane Randall in the thick of it.
A bit of a worry in this New Zealand line-out. They've lost a couple to the Aussies.
There's Ian Jones that time. Beautiful torpedo pass out wide. Here's Cullen. Herbert got him and drove him back. Fabulous drift defence there from the Aussies.
Oh,
Hand in the ruck, says the referee. Australians on the ground playing the ball. Now this is a possible chance for Mehrtens. We will wait and see.
Daniel Herbert did the big hit here on Cullen. Drives him back. They got desperate with the ball on the ground. Once Herbert gets in here, we start to see the rest of the goal jumps coming in. David Wilson now, he's there. He'd think he'd be off his feet. He is off. He's standing off the ground. Bit of a hard call.
And Jonah's big size 14 goes straight into Cullen's face.
End result is New Zealand have a chance to post first points. And Andrew Mehrtens, who had a horror night at the MCG, recalled last week, got 1 out of 1 at Athletic Park, but this is his favourite home patch. Allowing for the angle, it's 50 metres. This would be a huge morale booster for the All Blacks. No problems with distance, it's curling and sailing just outside the left-hand uprights. He started that right, there was a big loop on it. 1 missed penalty goal for Mehrtens. Mehrtens has 95 points against the Wallabies.
New Zealand will be desperate to start getting some points on the board here. 10 minutes to go in the first half. They certainly have this win favouring him in this first half.
Burke. Back to Mehrtens again. Mehrtens is going to follow this time. He's pumped that towards the touchline. What a kick. It's landed just half a metre inside the touchline. That was stupendous, Andrew Mehrtens. He was the outstanding player in the Super 12 tournament. And now Australia, backs to the wall.
Great field position for the All Black forwards who are looking for a bit of a lead. The All Blacks have been trying to get wide to use Cullen and Lomu all day.
They pinch the ball. Here's Little. New Zealand clean out well.
No, get the deck and he went back in there, black ball.
New Zealand scrum feed.
Keep your hands off it on the deck.
Well, there were a lot of hands in there.
Waterloo went to ground there, and the Wallabies were all over him. The ball was coming their way. Unfortunate call against them from the referee.
Look at the New Zealand backs here in a straight line. Well, they've taken a lead out of the ACT Brumbies book. The Wallaby backs look anxiously on. Jonah Lomu, second man back. Keep an eye on him. Mehrtens, Gregan spoiled. Here they go now. Lomu! Steamrollers. Brilliant tackle by Horan underneath. Quick ball, Mehrtens. It's only 10 metres out. The Wallabies hold on. Oliver. New Zealand pounding now. Lomu again. 3 men to bring him down. They still have it. Marshall goes himself. Loose on the ground. The Wallabies go for it. Mehrtens into fly half. Little. Just couldn't offload. 5 metres out from the Wallaby goal line. Another scrum.
Up there.
Awesome pressure from New Zealand. And fierce Australian defence.
It's the first time we've really seen the Australian defence tested, and they were right up to it. Interesting that backline move. They swing quickly to the right. It really puts the numbers out for the Wallabies, but they scrambled very effectively. Much helped by George Gregan's little touch of the ball.
Australia hold on to a 5-0 lead. Who's a New Zealand Maori from Kaikoui. In fact, he went to the same primary school as Scott McLeod back in 1986. Scott McLeod on the New Zealand bench today. Jonah Lomu is feeding the ball into the scrum here.
Let's go.
Watch him. Jonah has it. Australia read it well. Now they try to pilfer. Wilson's there. Coming back for Marshall. He goes himself. He's crunched. Wallaby forwards a little slow to get up. Here's Mehrtens. Cullen joins the line. Bowman's there. Stopped his momentum. Big tackle by Kefu and Cobain. 15 metres out. Coming back for Marshall again. Michael Jones. The Wallabies are throwing themselves into defence, but they're offside here. The penalty just 12 metres in from the touchline. And Tane Randall says we'll have a shot for goal. Well, this is a critical kick.
The Wallabies are really pushing through in these tackles. They are slamming the All Blacks. Eventually the All Blacks going here for the penalty. Super tackle by Steve Larkham on Lomu, who was the big scrum half coming around, took him to ground. But from then on, everyone was committed to knocking these guys over.
It's interesting to see how Derek Bevan's allowing players to climb up over the ruck. Not generally the way Northern Hemisphere referees do it.
Well, Mehrtens simply has to get this one for New Zealand, and the odds say that he will. Beautifully timed. He really sculptured that ball inside the right-hand uprights. And so New Zealand finally on the board. But it's taken nearly 33 minutes. (5-3). Australia with the lone try to Tom Bowman, coming after just 6 minutes of play. And Matthew Burke taking Chris a heavy knock early on.
And the contest from the kick-off, Gordon, has to be as fierce. The Wallabies have got to get the momentum swinging back their way. They need it through their forwards.
Here they come. Eales is there. Well taken there by Robin Brooke. And Brooke did expertly. Here's Mehrtens, left foot. Not so happy with that kick. Over Jason Little's head, but he still gains a very handy 35 metres.
Just under 4 minutes to go to half-time. Extra points would be nice here for the boys in green and gold. Got to play for the field position.
There's a bit of injury time to add on to that as John Eales changes his strides. So probably about 6 minutes, Simon, allowing for injuries. Now the line-outs, Australia has won 7 to New Zealand's 10.
See Kefu lurking out there with the Wallaby backs. Likely to be a runner off this movement.
Straight down the middle to John Eales. Robin Brooke spoiled. Gregan recovered brilliantly. Brooke managed to just get a hand on the Australian pass as they go low now back to halfway. Horan's gone into halfback. Larkham. Herberts, well wrapped up by Meyerhoffler. Michael Jones went in low. Gregan now. Jason Little wants a run. He takes off and makes 15. Gregan comes in. All Blacks try to spoil. Larkham again. Herberts. Bit of trickery by the Aussies as Crowley takes it ahead. This is a promising build-up. Here's Larkham. Jason Little steps beautifully. Kefu's there, so is Gregan. Inside the quarter. Crowley now. Tremendous continuity here from the Wallabies. Gregan again. Back to Larkham. What's he going to do? He steps. Well, they took a long time to tackle him. He sets it up again. Methodical build-up by the Wallabies. Horan spotting a gap. Cullen took him, ball and all. All Black backs committed. Here's Matthew Burke. Watch him. A big goose step. Mehrtens the tackler with Randall. Burke trying to get it back. Here it comes. Still inside the All Black quarter. Gregan to Larkham. He's dangerous. Accidentally bumping into his own man. He made 10 metres. The Wallabies clean out again. Gregan now. Daniel Herberts. He wriggles closer. New Zealand hold on. Horan standing wide. Larkham's in close, so is Burke. All Blacks read it well. Burke goes into maul. It may be a turnover. No, it's coming back, so that's just strength from the Australians. Burke saved the day that time. Kefu. Marshall the tackler. Crowley. Cullen in the last line. They're getting closer. Larkham now. Burke. Lovely switch to Roth. Picked up by Larkham. 5 metres out. Sensational ball retention here from the Wallabies. Kefu's out in midfield. So is Matthew Burke, the first receiver. Burke trying to crash through. He goes to ground. Ian Jones, the tackler. Australia have it again. They must have won a dozen rucks in a row here. Australia go ahead. 3 metres to go. New Zealand just absorbing this enormous pressure. Larkham. Try. Matthew Burke. It had to come. Matthew Burke gets his 15th try. And have you seen sustained pressure like that from a Wallaby team?
Well, if you work hard, the rewards come. Rugby team game, and this is the ultimate team try. They just worked and worked and probed. We tried to get a inside pass here, and cross crashes Matthew Burke. Sensational stuff from Larkham.
How cool, Chris Handy, was Steve Larkham there.
Beautiful play, a team try. Everyone did everything that they'd been practicing. Pelican Waters on the north coast of Queensland. They've just been there quietly working away at it. Everyone involved. And a tremendous try from Matt Burke. The whole bench went up as one.
It's like trying to crack a safe out there, looking for that little click. And eventually Steve Larkham, after being involved in so many times through that tremendous movement. Found the inside pass, gave Burke the try and a chance to convert.
I don't know how long the ball was alive there for, but you'd say it was alive for at least a couple of minutes, and the All Blacks did valiantly to hold on, but finally just a little sleight of hand from Larkham broke the deadlock. Big kick here for Burke. Straight, but staying outside the right-hand uprights. So still, the Wallabies enjoying a comfortable lead, but both attempted conversions going wide. 10-3. 2 tries to 0. New Zealand know they have a fight on their hands here. It's been a very powerful, impressive Wallaby display. Crowley playing out of his skin. Gregan now to Larkham. And again that prober. Taint Randall back there. To Cullen. Wallabies up quickly. Cullen has set that 65 metres on the fly. Magnifique as the referee blows it up for half-time. And the Wallabies will be buoyed by that first 40 minutes. A try to big Tom Bowman after 6. And then just before half-time, it was a demoralising try as far as the All Blacks were concerned. Matthew Burke crossing for his 15th in Test matches, both unconverted. Mehrtens a penalty goal for New Zealand. We're set for a storming 40 in the second half. Australia ahead 10-3. We'll be back in a few moments. Yes, well, David Campese had that mesmeric touch. We've seen it from Stephen Larkham today. Just the way he delayed his pass, sucked in the opposition, and Matthew Burke crashing over after what we estimate must have been about 10 or 12 rucks, Simon. That was an amazing piece of play. Australia ahead 10-3.
Fantastic composure and to come at such a critical point in the game. Very important in the second half. The stats are very interesting out there. Bevan, amazing, only 8 penalties. Steve Larkham's run the ball on 7 occasions, something which Mehrtens hasn't been able to do out there. The lineouts are going pretty well for the Aussies, and both sides, turnovers very low.
Well, let's have a look at some of the action from that first half. Australia starting in mighty fashion, and they've been working very cleverly in close, looking for the holes, but some nice work from Jason Little on the blind side to create the opening.
There was, and Kefu's had a very strong first half as well. Jason Little gets the ball here. Great little pick up there from Tom Bowman, and look the speed. He gets slightly stopped and eventually gets there. George Gregan, how happy is he?
They're a very focused Wallaby team, but there you saw Anton Oliver getting in the way, offside.
Yeah, the hands in the air, and this led to a All Black breakout. Ball comes wide to Wilson, but again, composure with this breakout. Defence come across. Cullen there. Throws the ball back inside to Wilson, but there was the cover across in numbers.
Jeff Wilson, if he'd held on there, I feel sure would have scored. You see him drop one of those 1 in 100.
Again, Matthew Burke, they're really injecting him into the back line today. A strong All Black defence there, stops it. The ball goes wide here. George Gregan. Herbert finds Horan. Kefu again. He's done this about 3 times the first occasion, but out wide was Tom Bowman, not Jason Little. Ball goes to ground.
And now the build-up from Australia. Phil Kearns making big inroads. And this was a real heartbreaker for the All Blacks close to half-time.
Well, eventually Matthew Burke scores a try, but every Australian player should go down for this try. It was such a team try.
So there it is, 10 points to 3 at half-time. Well, the breeze has really picked up from the southwest. It's going to be very blustery in the second half. Chris Handy down on the touchline. It's been 40 years of misery here at Lancaster Park, but a couple of foundation stones have been put in place for the second half.
Certainly, Gordon, a very mature start by the Wallabies. To a man, they've been composed, they've been industrious, they've resisted the temptation to go wide and push the pass when they've had so much possession. And I think it's that's adding that little bit of class to the Wallaby performance today. If they can go on with it, then this is a historic win for the Wallabies at this ground where they haven't won for 40 years.
Well, there certainly is a long way to go, but don't forget we have some great AFL coming up straight after this telecast from Cardinia Park, Geelong Cats and the Sydney Swans, who have been back to form in recent weeks. And in 2 weeks' time, the next Tri-Nations match from Kings Park in Durban, South Africa and New Zealand on the 7 network. Well, Painted Black is blaring out over the loudspeakers. The All Blacks will have to do just that in the second half. Australia ahead 10-3. We'll be back very shortly.
They can do it.
There has been a change in the New Zealand side. We'll bring Chris Handy in.
Yes,
so New Zealand offside there. Chris.
Number 21 is Carl Hoff, the Otago loose head on for Craig Dowd. It's a interesting move. It's one obviously designed to get that scrum going forward.
A good start here for the Wallabies. Jonah Lomu up on the kick-off, came round offside. Derek Bevan has penalised him, so now got a line-out feed for Phil Kearns.
Mark Meyerhoffler standing out in midfield, pointing at Daniel Herbert.
Interesting backline structure too, with Kefu, Little, Herbert lined up.
John Eales, so dexterous. Tom Bowman now as the Wallabies drive ahead. Just edging forward. All Blacks try to spoil, but they're still going. Gregan. Lovely pass to Bowman again. Lomu in front. Crashing tackle. Bowman sets up. And it will be a Wallaby scrum feed. And this one 8 metres out. Well, dynamic start to the second half.
The clash of the giants. Big Tom Bowman beats Lomu as Craig Dowd. Be huge disappointment. The Australians now lining up in their backline move. Watch this.
Well, already we see an impact from Carl Hoff at loose head against Andrew Blades.
I think I can see the bruise marks on Craig Dowd's neck from where the big hook came on.
Here goes Larkham. Herbert! Look at this for Little! Jason Little! Under the posts! The All Black backline was totally bamboozled. They didn't know what was going on. And in the end, they were humiliated. Jason Little back for his first run on test. His 51st.
Absolutely sensational play here for the Wallabies. They lined up in pairs behind the scrum. They swung left. Eventually the All Blacks were left with one man too few. And Jason Little cuts back in. Super try.
Well, in 1993 against South Africa at Ballymore, this man burst through the pack. And I went, go you good thing, go. This better. He's back. It's Little again.
And how do you defend against that? Very difficult as John Eales converts from in front of the posts. So that is an incredible try there to the Wallabies. The New Zealand defence totally dumbfounded. And Rod McQueen beside himself as Australia leads 17 points to 3. A setback, New Zealand will have to come back quickly. Pulling it down, so a couple of penalties going against the New Zealand forwards. Psychologically, big blows for them early on.
Derek Bevan is doing an excellent job in the refereeing department. Coming in when he needs to, but he's letting the game run. And it's really suiting, I think, a fitter Wallaby team out there.
Nice to see John Eales back in the goal-kicking role as well. Matt Burke obviously handing over that job, but good drive from the Wallaby forwards, and they get the benefit.
So we're just on New Zealand side of halfway. The breeze is swirling around here. It looks to be favouring Australia, but you'd never know, as Eales does superbly again. Close to the best man on the field here today. There's the Wallaby drive again. Crowley's there, so is Tom Bowman. Gregan now, short side. Jason Little. Lomu in front. Cullen's there. He takes it over the goal line, but he got the mark. They play on quickly. Well, this is dangerous play. Marshall caught 4 metres out. The Wallabies were all offside.
I think it's called enthusiasm.
Unbridled enthusiasm. This Wallaby forward pack are hungry. Jason Little going up in front of them again, and they wanted it badly.
17-3 the lead, a 14-point advantage. That one going over the goal line. not quite over the dead ball line, and so play to resume from the 22.
Would have been an interesting scrum had it have gone dead in goal. Come right back this other end from where it was kicked.
Now, Chris, the Wallabies can't afford to sit on any lead here. South Africa led New Zealand 23-7 last year in the northern capital in South Africa, and back in 1996 the Wallabies led New Zealand 22-9, and both South Africa and Australia lost those games. So it's 80 minutes all the way. Tane Randall. Here's Marshall and Mehrtens grubbering. Kefu just wants to keep it in play. Mehrtens again now to Marshall. He's looking for support, linking up here. Marshall goes himself. He was under an injury cloud before the game after a knock to his hip last week at Athletic Park. That's Mehrtens stepping beautifully. One of the few clean breaks we've seen from New Zealand. Regan can see the ball here. Australia have it. Here's Larkham. Larkham ghosting. Came off Lomu. Now Jonah. Jason Little got on top of him. Meyer-Hoffler goes in. Just short of halfway.
Black took it in, yellow ball!
Up off the ground, says the referee. It was a maul as they took it in. It's use it or lose it. And nothing going right for John Hart and the All Blacks at the moment.
Yeah, Wayne Smith on the left here, assistant coach. Canterbury boy himself. Difficult conditions here for these coaches.
It'd bring a tear to a glass eye, wouldn't it, Simon? Looking at the concern on the faces of the All Black administrators.
Kefu goes into Marshall. Back now to Little. He's solidly met. There's a good clean out from New Zealand as they try to spoil here.
Coming over there!
And the referee says they left their feet. So a string of penalties in the second half. That's 3 in a row to the Wallabies.
Well, at half-time, the penalty count was 5 for New Zealand, 3 to Australia. As you say, Gordon, the discipline's gone. Australia 17, New Zealand 3.
At the moment, his celebration of 100 games is looking pretty grim, but it can change around pretty quickly for the All Blacks. They need some rhythm, they need some confidence, and they need a few breaks. Nothing going their way at the moment. Eales again. Just spectacular. Now the Wallabies get their ball going, but they've lost it. Clever play by New Zealand. Will that turn things for them? Mehrtens rifling across to the far touchline. And that's a mighty kick. We're only 34 metres out.
Well, I don't think Andrew Mehrtens can continue to tactically kick and hope to win this game from 17-3. The All Blacks through the early 90s, ball in hand, they destroyed teams. Kicking too much away in this game.
Chris, it's a huge compliment to the Wallaby defence, though.
Very much. We saw it in Perth against South Africa, and I think we see just how hard that game was. South Africa, in their next game, just punished the All Black offence. And the Wallabies here now, just pushing them to other options. So it's a good thing to say.
Matt Cobain. Coming back for Regan. And here's Larkham. Carter comes through. And Larkham's kick, he has it on a string. This man just seems to have oodles of time here today.
Rod McQueen went for a run with him this morning, and he's feeling pretty confident. They've done so much work getting this side here. They've got almost every option covered, and things are really running their way.
Those boys' good looks belying the turmoil that's probably going on behind the glasses.
A washing machine probably going on inside his stomach and his brain at the moment. New Zealand have taken the ball away from Australia. There's been a few turnovers. Referee playing advantage for Wallaby offside. It's Meyer-Hoffler having a go. So just some carelessness coming in to play from the Wallabies, giving New Zealand some opportunities. Mehrtens sinking the ball into the crowd. 10-metre line Australian territory. Score 17-3 Australia.
This is the place you'd expect to see the All Black captain really marshalling his forces. Tane Randall, some inexperience, terrific player. They need him now more than ever.
Good line-out ball. Meyer delays the pass. New Zealand almost through. Crunching defence again from the Wallabies. Mehrtens chips. Lomu was there. Here's Little. Shows his experience in keeping it in play. New Zealand has to hit back with a try here. 10, nearly 11 gone in this second half. That's Oliver. Marshall, Mehrtens. Meyer tries to step. He was isolated. Randall arrives late. Marshall again. Here's Wilson. Big pass to Little. It's New Zealand's turn to put the pressure on. Wilson again. He sees a couple of front rowers there and he's crunched on the quarter midfield. Good open side here. Cullen's out there. Break. Now there's a break. Marshall almost there. 8 metres out. Australia in trouble here. The try's on. There's an overlap. And they've lost it. I don't believe it. The leaving kick takes play back outside the quarter. That is desperate bad luck for New Zealand.
Little chink there in the Aussie defence. Marshall, they're expecting him to pass the ball. Shot through. But what's this? Water Little. Ball goes to ground. Meyer and Jason Little clears.
Gregan like a scythe, cutting down Little. What a magnificent tackle of Georgie Gregan. And the gasp on the faces of this All Black supporters when they fail to get across.
New Zealand have gone up a couple of cogs. Meyer now. Crashed into Jason Little, bounced off the tackle. Centre field on the quarter. Now there's a chance out wide for Robin Brooke, but he lacks support. Will he be held up here? The referee said that he tried to release it, but the Wallabies came through offside.
Well, Dan Crowley coming in for the tackle over the top there on Robin Brooke. Just didn't get off him quick enough to allow a release. And the penalty.
Crowley has been in everything here today. He tries to get to his feet but can't. He's holding onto the ball. And deserved penalty for the All Blacks as they claw their way back.
I don't know how much more you can do. Dan Crowley made the tackle, was still attached to the tackle, got back up to his feet, and put him in an onside position.
So there's a strong blustery breeze. It's not showing on camera, but Mehrtens will start this one out to the left. And it finishes up over the black dot. So New Zealand edging back into the game. They haven't scored a try. Australia have touchdown for 3 5-pointers. Bowman, Burke in the first half. Jason Little 2 minutes into the second. Eales 1 conversion. 17 plays 6. Just a couple of turnovers from the Wallabies have allowed New Zealand to edge closer. Australia has to snap out of its slumber. Ian Jones came away but then lost it. Australia regroup. 10-metre line New Zealand territory. Scrum feed here for the Wallabies.
Fantastic skill in that kick-off from Matthew Burke. Beautifully positioned, allowed the Wallabies to regain the possession after valiant efforts by Ian Jones to get it back.
Now Blades against Coft on this side of the scrum. Rock solid.
Scrum had collapsed, so the referee decided to pull it up in the interest of safety as Kepu was away. But a great moment for Carl Hoft from the Otago Highlanders.
Crouch. Good, let's go.
Kepu, just a little static that time. He has to release. Gregan now. Joe Roth slammed into heavy tackling. Australia have it in control. Referee can see it. New Zealand holding on to it, not allowing the ball to come out. Gregan was appealing for the penalty.
George Gregan belting the ball into Carter's back there. Unlucky, George says.
And they don't like Carter here, down here in the South Island. He was there in an offside position, and then he picked the ball up and tried to pilfer, but once he got pulled off his feet, he was buggered.
So Australia going for a penalty attempt here. Nearly 16 minutes gone. It's 17-6 to the Wallabies. Here to strike a devastating blow for his country. So none from 2. That's a 100% failure so far, but he hasn't missed by much. All will be forgiven if he can steer this one through the uprights, and we have a perfect view. He nailed one from here yesterday in practice. It's good. Never looked like missing. And the Wallabies back out to their 14-point lead. That's 2 converted tries. A telling stroke there by Matthew Burke.
One of the unfortunate positions for the New Zealanders is that Marker, who was such an impact player for them, not on the bench today. Scott Robinson there instead.
Jonah Lomu's chasing hard on this one. So is Michael Jones. Australia lost it. Little now quickly. Mayo Hoffler. Ian Jones is with him, and Wilson! Australia desperately scramble in defence. New Zealand steaming onto the loose ball.
Solid hit back there from New Zealand. Good speed from Mortar Little gets him through here. But watch the defence come across as they find Wilson out wide and taken a touch by Joe Rock.
Jeff Wilson, only 3 tries against Australia in the games that he's played. Would dearly have loved one there.
When you consider he scored 28 tries from 39 tests, his strike rate against the Wallabies is low. Tom Bowman soaring nicely. The All Blacks try to stop any driving wall here from the Wallabies. They'll have to get it back. That's David Wilson. And Larkham quickly. Charged down by New Zealand. Nasty bounce. That's Wilson. So Australia out of the danger zone. New Zealand forward slow to get back onside here. They still have it. Mayer Hoffler wants it. Tane Randall crunched in close. Marshall says go blind here. Little flick pass. Mehrtens did well, so did Mayer Hoffler. They're getting in each other's way. Almost an obstruction there, accidental.
Crowley outstanding on the inside. Caught the man, came back inside on the flick, and Crowley has torpedoed him off the side of the ruck.
So coming up to the 3/4 point of the match. The Wallabies have history in their sights here this afternoon. Stephen Larkham. Well, that's a wobbly kick. Taken solidly. Here's Cullen. Straight through. The Paikakariki Express. He's beaten 8 tacklers. Sensational thrust. He's still going. This is New Zealand's chance. Australia hold on. There's the penalty.
Well, he's got Tom Bowman there for offside. Cullen, superb piece of play.
Now, does Tane Randall have the 3 points? It's a give 3 points. Or do they go for the try? Yes, they go to take the 3 points. Coming up to the 20-minute mark. But Christian Cullen exploding off the mark.
Look at this man weave a little web through the middle. Just superb. 1, 2, 3. Crowley gets nearly to him. He then spins and turns. He goes to ground, loses the ball, but then rolls over and protects it for his side.
I think it was Steve Larkham, who has not missed a tackle in 5 test matches, who let him through.
So Mehrtens will make no mistake here. Flags are up. 20 plays 9, 11 points the difference at Jade Stadium. And we're looking at the last 20 minutes of the game now. Remember, the Wallabies led 22-9 at Suncorp Stadium in 1996 and lost in the dying seconds. 3 tries to 0.
Rob McQueen looking a little more tense now.
Matthew Burke's kick just creeps over the 10 metres. Robin Brooke has really rallied to his country's cause this afternoon. He's been under fire. But it looks as though Australia have pilfered again. Gregan and Larkham. He puts it high. Jonah Lomu's underneath. Jonah took it well. Jason Little and Daniel Herbert came at him. He's up off the ground, so New Zealand don't want to be caught in a maul situation, otherwise it'll be a scrum. They get it to ground now. Mehrtens. Clever kick. Here's the sweeper, Gregan with Horan. Horan straightens. Crunched there by Robin Brooke. Hanging onto the ball. Momentum going with New Zealand.
I agree, but a tough call. 3 guys hit him. How are you going to clear the ball?
Give us a break, Mr. Bevan. He can only take the ball into 3. He hit it up hard, went straight to ground. The whistle just about blew the pee out of the whistle.
So New Zealand back down in the attacking zone, just outside the quarter.
All Blacks going for a 6-man line out. Tane, Randell, Carter and the back line runners behind Mehrtens.
New Zealand simply have to win this afternoon. They cannot face 3 losses in a row. But the writing is already on the wall. They lost in 1993-94 against England, then 2 against France and New Zealand. A hat-trick of losses, that was the last time. But it's everything at the Aussies now. Michael Jones. They've held him up this time, but Jones somehow gets the ground. Sheer strength and technique. Tane Randall standing off. Here's Mehrtens and Little. Little knock on, it came off a knee though. Well, I thought New Zealand might have been a bit unlucky there. It appeared to come off the knee of the All Black player, but the referee was a lot closer.
I think it goes from hand to knee and then forward, which is lost forward.
Sub coming on. Scott Robertson, it looks like. Mark Carter leaves the field. Scott Robertson, the local Canterbury boy, is on for his first test match. And he is the 43rd player used in tests by John Hart in his 2.5-year reign. That's roughly the same number of test players as Laurie Mains used in 3.
Excellent clearance there from the scrum by the Wallabies. George Gregan got a good lateral pass.
No sign yet of any changes on the Wallaby bench. Willie O, who would normally be injected about this time, is still fully kitted up in his wet weather gear.
So New Zealand through Walter Little. He's played with more zip today. But New Zealand losing the ball in the tackle. 24-year-old Scott Robertson, 105 kilos, making his test debut here on Jade Stadium, Lancaster Park, his home territory. 11 points the difference in favour of the Wallabies. Kefu hesitated. He couldn't pick it up fast enough. Australia recover. Yes, yes, he says to George Gregan, you'll still get the scrum feed. They are feeling there that New Zealand may have just edged forward.
Michael Jones ran very quickly, not wearing his headgear today for the first time for a long while.
Again, a very low, solid Aussie scrum.
And why he gets around quickly, he's unbound from the side of the scrum.
And that's a very clever kick by Larkham. He saw the open territory, and this is a monster. That is a backbreaker, a heartbreaker, and it's only 13 metres out from the New Zealand goal line.
You're a genius, Bernie Larkham. What a composed, easy effort this has been for him. Such a Good thinker.
Anton Oliver then. Ian Jones got it. So the Wallaby backs come up now as Mehrtens clears. And that's another huge gain for his side, taking play, I would think, over the halfway line or certainly to it.
John Eales again threw so quickly, almost got the tips of his finger that ball. Good line out there from the All Blacks. Three-man work well.
The Wallabies have a resolve here not to concede a try. If they don't concede a try in these last 16 or 17 minutes, they know they will win the game. So John Eales, who doesn't feign injury, down for attention. Score here, 20 points to 9. The Wallabies in the lead. So Phil Kearns, the master warrior. Tom Bowman again doing well. They've used him on a few occasions and he hasn't let his country down. New Zealand sliding through to spoil but can't. Larkham goes wide here to... Bad pass to Burke. They clean up. Larkham's there. Wallabies arrive in numbers. New Zealand forwards were too slow to take advantage. Tim Horan standing out on the open. Here's Herbert. And Roth. Joe Roth goes to ground and sets it up again for the Wallabies. Larkham now from outside his quarter. And it's another beautifully controlled punt kick. Not quite as close to the touchline as he wanted, but Mehrtens from inside his 22 returns with interest. That is a massive kick down to the Australian quarter line. Take a bow, Andrew Mehrtens.
An extraordinary kick there from Andrew Mehrtens as we see another change coming on. Big Willie O is on.
Torai Kefu leaves the field. His younger brother Steve Kefu played in the Australian under-19 team today at outside centre, and they won by 25 to 23 against the New Zealand under-19.
So we've got to give Kefu a rap. He had a huge game today for the Australians. Plenty of breaks.
Tom Bowman again. Coming up trumps for the Wallabies at the front of the lineouts. John Eales now. Australia in command of this match. Can they see it through and win their first international at this ground since 1958? But again, the All Blacks have smothered the Wallaby possession. It was a maul. The ball was up off the ground. The Wallabies had to get it out.
Yeah, Robin Brooke through, tied it up. Phil Kearns frustrated by the result.
Now they go through Mehrtens. Little. Here's Wilson. Great defence. Lost ahead by Cullen. Referee, I think, may have missed the knock on. He's playing advantage. I think the touch judge helped him there, Brian Camsell. The referee had missed the knock on by Christian Cullen, but that's the beauty of having a microphone in the flagstick.
And that's a sorry sight. No heads up in that bench. Mehrtens moving the ball wide. It looked as though they could produce something, but a beautiful tackle. Just spoilt the pass wide.
Willie O at the back of the Australian scrum. Here's Larkham inside the quarter. A little banana kick that time, angling the ball into touch. 8 from halfway. The Wallabies still leading by 11.
Well, Willie O, a player who didn't really pump iron in the past, is now really getting right into it in these Wallaby camps at Caloundra. And they say he's awesome, so you'll see his strength even better in these games now.
Ian Jones did well. Meyerhoffler now. Here comes Lomu. He just couldn't offload. 10-metre line. The All Blacks have another good launching pad here. Marshall goes in. Wallabies have pinched it. Gregan. Grubbering straight ahead. Gregan chases. He's tripped over. Accidental, says the referee. Here's Mehrtens now. Oh, a bad pass to Cullen, who knocks on. He's driven into the turf there by Phil Kearns. And the Wallabies have a chance to score another try. Out wide they go. Little. Still going. Andrew Blades. Horan. 15 metres out. Joe Roth. Dangerous. He's still going. 7 metres to go. The Wallabies can score their fourth here. Overlap. It has to be for Horan. There it is, Larkham. Stephen Larkham has sealed it. What a try to Australia. A smashing performance here by the Wallabies. And that has won the Test match without doubts.
Well, still minutes to go, but you'd have to say it's wrapped up here. What a beautiful try here from the Wallabies. Jason Little's playing so well, finds Larkham. Larkham skips in. Justin Marshall can't stop him. Wilson can't stop him. Try time.
Ex-Wallaby, Ipswich publican, Jeff McLean, take a bow for this moment. You scored 2 tries here. You couldn't be on a winning side for the Wallabies. And Stephen Larkham doing it in style after some great lead-up. Little, ball in hand, made him think, created the gap. Larkham, over!
So the class of the Wallaby players really coming through in the backs. Joe Rock was absolutely awesome as he probed early on. The composure was remarkable. John Eales, who's had an 87% success rate in Super 12 with his goal kicking, will have a test of mettle here.
All those horrible memories the last 40 years here at Lancaster Park now, Jay. Being erased by this great Wallaby team.
They've got a bonus point too. They go to the top of the Tri-Nations table if they emerge victorious here today. John Eales. He's got it. Is there nothing this man can't do? So the Wallabies away to a commanding lead, 18 points. From Jade Stadium, here's Larkham. And he's really had a magnificent game today, Stephen Larkham. Now Cullen to try something. Herbert tried to get him and held on. Kearns was there too. Tom Bowman was the man who secured the ball from the kickoff. Mehrtens now. He's running out of ideas. Came off his boot. Here's Roth. Big Joe Roth. No one ahead. It's a sprint. Wilson there first. And I have to say it's all over for New Zealand. They're trailing by 18 points.
Carlos Spencer, probably lucky you're not out there, Carlos, because I think next time round you'll be in the team. I just want to find Murray Decker somewhere around this ground so I can shove all his comments back down his throat.
Any Kiwi will do, Simon, at this moment. But it is a sad day for the All Blacks. You will see some turnover. There's been down there very good thinkers of the game, the New Zealand rugby public, and they've been saying it's wrong, it's not right.
So Bowman and Eales working again so well at the front. George Gregan and Larkham. Here's Horan. There's a loose pass. Little in trouble. He lost it. New Zealand toe ahead. Here is Christian Cullen. Will this be a try? Sensational play from Larkham again. That was amazing with his baseball slides. He has to be close to man of the match.
He's got rare skills, Steve Larkham. Just under the highest pressure, he can do the most special things as John Hart.
Where did he come from, Larkham?
And right from back play. Tremendous work. Slid perfect defensive ploy. Slid in on the ball with his back to the opposition. Picked it up, got to his feet.
So Mehrtens now. Meyerhoffler. Eales the tackler. New Zealand stalking for their first try. Australia have scored 4 unanswered tries. There's Carl Hoft. Jonah Lomu lining up here for a crack at the Wallaby defence. Robin Brooke at fly half. They're getting closer. Here goes Jonah. He started. Carl Hoft goes himself. Australia has pinched a lot of New Zealand's ball here today, and they've done it again. Player being isolated. Mehrtens goes in to complain to the referee. Collapse ball.
This is an All Black forward pack without the heart that we've seen normally and without that leadership. They're like a rudderless ship at the moment, going one out, not being able to go get that cohesive effort.
The turnover count is horrific for New Zealand, 16 to Australia's 8.
You got that, blood.
So some of the crowd singing Waltzing Matilda.
There's a lot of it over this side of the ground.
Here's George Gregan. Final rights for New Zealand now as Joe Roth sizes up a big punt kick and takes play to the 22. Nearly 36 minutes gone in this second half. It's not enough time for New Zealand to come back.
The New Zealand just have been totally outplayed by the Wallabies today. The Wallaby defence and great players like Michael Jones have been virtually in obscurity today.
Ian Jones. Picked up by Wilson. David Wilson with a mighty bust. Playing his 54th test this afternoon. Just lacked a bit of support. And there's a penalty. Australia pulling the ball down. Well, it's been an inspired performance by the Wallaby forwards and backs. They have taken their try-scoring opportunities superbly. And the crowd, 35,683. That's Robert Brooke. All Black forwards take it over the quarter line. Justin Marshall gets untidy ball. Here's Mehrtens. That's Robertson. Gets his hands on the ball for the first time. Marshall again. That's Olo Brown, who's tried very hard for New Zealand. The great tight head prop. Marshall. Michael Jones inside. Robertson sets his ears, pins his ears back as Hoft is driven back in the tackle. Little now. Clever pass there to Meyer-Hoffler, but look at the gold jerseys. Now there's a gap out wide. Cullen! Christian Cullen! Scrambles over the goal line. Finally, New Zealand get a try, and that is a consolation for the All Blacks. But the Bledisloe Cup is gone as far as they are concerned.
Well, they're a proud nation. They're fighting back. A consolation try, you might say, as Scott McLeod looks on. Eventually, Wallabies ran out of numbers. Good lead-up work. Hoft, Little. Willie down for the tackle there, coming blindside. Meyer-Hoffler throws a good pass. They find Cullen. Almost got there to stop him, but he gets across.
Well, he's been New Zealand's most dangerous player this afternoon, Christian Cullen. 24th try in 27 test matches. Very close to full-time here. A minute and a half to go. Mehrtens raises the flags with a majestic kick from touch. 11 points the difference. But it would need a miracle from here for the All Blacks.
Probably just as well for Carlos Spencer. He's not out here today, and Canterbury ground, Mehrtens is treated like a god. You might excuse him, but Carlos Spencer never.
So Matthew Burke taking his time with the restart. New Zealand will be anxious to get it down there again. Anton Oliver. Finally a chink came in this absolutely superb Wallaby defence. Little forward pass there. Referee is happy. All Blacks working it in close through Marshall. Meyer-Hoffler. Little goes to ground. Larkham with another fine tackle. Offside Australia. New Zealand want to play on quickly. I make it about a minute to go. Here's Randall. They keep it alive now for Little. Walter Little has tried very hard. Horan wraps him up. Almost pinching the ball. Coming back here for Marshall. Gregan's gone out to sweep. Marshall! Mehrtens! Picked up by Ian Jones. Mehrtens going straight through. It's all New Zealand in the closing stages. Cullen now. Ran into a dead end. Eales from behind. Mehrtens again. Offside Australia.
Yeah, Daniel Herbert way offside here in the centres. No kick for goal here for sure. They'll tap it and run.
Well, we think time is up on the clock, so it's in the hands of Mr. Bevan now. Back inside, that's Robertson, who's looked powerful with his few touches. New Zealand doing what Australia did in the first half. Go to Lomu. Larkham there, so was Kearns, hanging on for dear life. Marshall clears. Robertson again, he's really having a crack at the Aussie defence. All Blacks looking for their second try. It's only 8 metres out. Australia come away, another penalty. Hand in the ruck. How much time to go? That's the question. New Zealand, Robertson. Wallaby defence is grand. 4 metres to go. No sign of it coming out. Bowman was offside. Referee plays advantage. Lomu! Unstoppable! Well, the All Blacks have come back stoically. And is that the last play of the game?
Well, the Wallabies will be disappointed that their fence letting these 2 tries through. Lomu injects himself, the machine. And Timmy Horan just can't hold the big fella.
That is it! The Wallabies have done it here at Lancaster Park, despite the barnstorming finish from the gallant Kiwis. Now the moment to savour for John Eales and his Wallaby team. The first time the Wallabies have clinched the Bledisloe Cup in New Zealand since Alan Jones and Andrew Slackside did it in 1986. The Wallabies' first win at this ground since 1958. A magnificent win here. 4 tries to 2.
John Eales, tell us just how it feels.
Oh, it's sensational. Yeah, we had a game plan today. The only disappointment was at the end there, but we've got the Bledisloe Cup. That's what we set out to do. That's what we haven't done since '94.
Bowman beside you and Larkham, absolute standout.
Oh, exceptional. It's great. And the crowd, it's great to have a few Australian supporters here.
John, enjoy the moment.
Thanks, Chris.
27-23. The All Blacks were trailing 27-9. So they came back superbly to 27-14, 27-21, then the last conversion. But it's the end of the road as far as the Tri-Nations are concerned. The All Blacks will finish bottom of the Tri-Nations table when they started as favourites for the tournament, and the Wallabies now look forward to their clash in 3 weeks' time with the Springboks. So the final score here at Jade Stadium. We'll be back to wrap up after the break. Australia has done it, winning by 27-23, a 4-point margin. Well, scenes of jubilation here at Jade Stadium for this mighty Australian victory. Their first at this ground since 1958. It really was a heroic performance. The Wallabies led by 27-9. The All Blacks getting a couple of tries in the last 3 minutes. Let's go down to Chris Handy.
Well, Kearnsy, tell us what it's like to win the Bledisloe Cup here in New Zealand.
You've got to laugh, haven't you? Oh, it's just fantastic. Fair dinkum. You know, we had them 4 tries to 0. We're disappointed that we let them in for 2 at the end. We were just down on our feet. We tried that hard, and it's just such a great feeling. We've worked so hard for this, and for being belted in every game in the last 2 years, and to come back and win 2 in a row. I can't describe it, but it's great. We'll be swimming in the river tonight, I can tell you that.
I'll be with you.
Have some Speedos on though, will you, for God's sake?
It'll be an ugly sight, whale on the beach.
Oh no, it's just a fantastic feeling. To hear our crowd, the Australians over there, singing Waltzing Matilda in the New Zealand crowd, that's fantastic.
Enjoy the moment.
Oh, I'm going to, I guarantee you that, Bud. Thanks, mate.
Well, Nick Farr-Jones and Tim Horan in Wellington in 1990, Simon, had a swim in Wellington Harbour. The whole team will be in the Avon River tonight, and I think it might reach flood peak levels.
I promised Timmy Horan I'd join him tonight if they won, so that could be bad news. Well, last time was 1958, that's when I was born, so it's a long time since the Wallabies have won here at Christchurch. And what a fantastic game. Turnovers really was a very big plus. The All Blacks made plenty of mistakes out there. The line-out, I think, was superb today, and the rucks and mauls, the All Blacks won a lot at the end there, but they've really dominated early on. And the fly halves, Larkham had a huge game.
Didn't he ever? So Australia goes to the top of the Tri-Nations with 2 bonus points, and if New Zealand can come back and beat South Africa in 2 weeks' time at Durban, Australia will stay on top. But Australia has their chance now in the final Tri-Nations match. Back to Chris Handy.
How does it feel? Describe it for us.
Oh, fantastic. First time we've won over here.
and to win the Bledisloe Cup again for the first time for a long time. It's great stuff.
Tell us why they're calling you Speed Bump.
Speed bump to him, mate. I think he ran over me once or twice, but I'll live with that.
Well, enjoy the moment. Go with the team and have a great night.
Thanks, Chris. Cheers.
Yes, what a mighty game Jason Little had, but spare a thought for the All Blacks. It's a terrible moment for them as John Eales proudly stands alongside the Bledisloe Cup. The cup is being presented at the moment.
Come forward and put two hands on the Bledisloe Cup.
A great moment for Australian sports as John Eales holds this wonderful old trophy aloft. South Africa and New Zealand, 2 weeks' time, and so it's been a great day for the Wallabies here. They have won by 27-3. They have beaten the Hoodoo. It's been a great victory, and also on behalf of Seven Sport, our sincere wishes go to the family of Ian Gordon Laddie, who died so tragically this week, the sports producer and rugby producer for Fox Sports. But a great celebration for Australia, a tribute to Ian Gordon. Goodbye from Christchurch.